You know, I rarely get asked to give a few words when people find out that I have a religion degree from an historically Baptist college. And on top of that I used to be a lawyer. People don't think of short speeches in me in common very often. But I want to tell you a little bit about how we came here, why we came here, and why it's so meaningful to us. Our first Sunday here was Palm Sunday several years ago, and we were sitting about where we are now, and we looked around and we thought, wow, it's really odd there are so few people here for Palm Sunday, and then I hear, "This is the voice of God. If you are inside, come outside." And that was Father Andrew, who we found this tradition of processing around the block here to be very special and meaningful, but we didn't know that it existed when we first got here. So the reason we came here at first was that I also was a part-time church musician before, and so trying to find a church home music was very important to us. So when I found out about Tim, when I found out about the beautiful instrument that we have here, I knew this is somewhere I wanted to come and see what was happening. And Tim, as you might know, has a really distinguished pedigree, having been at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in New York City, the largest cathedral in the United States, the largest Anglican cathedral in the world, I believe. Is that right, Tim? Yeah, so I've had the opportunity to be at St. John's a number of times. In fact, we were there for worship last Sunday, and I couldn't help but think that they have nothing on Tim. And what I think Tim does so well here is that while the music itself is obviously very beautiful, it's also very liturgically rich, and Tim does an incredible job of connecting the music that we hear with God and with the meaning that it has. And if you read the notes that Tim spends a lot of time preparing, I'm sure, when you look at those in the newsletters, you can see that there's a lot of thought that goes into everything that's done here. You also might wonder how Tim comes up with his postludes every week, and you might not realize those aren't written down. Tim is one of the most gifted musicians in the country in terms of organ improvisation, and he improvises all of those. And it's really an incredible talent, and we're really so blessed to have that. But it's not only the music that I was thinking about when I was at St. John the Divine last Sunday, it was the sermons. I was thinking about how much more meaningful the sermons that we have here are. And I'll tell you, there was no hearty applause at the end of the sermon last Sunday like there was here. But it's not just priests, it's not just music, it's the other ministries that we have that make this place special and unique. One I just would highlight for a moment is the youth program, what that's meant to my children, Emma and Jack over here, what it's meant to them to have that connection has been incredibly special. Gina, Anita, others in that program really are a gift to us. We live in Fort Lauderdale, and during COVID, Gina actually drove the over an hour round trip just to come spend time with us, would check in just to make sure that our children were okay. That really is something that you don't find in a lot of places. And those sort of things, these things are all worthy of support. They're worthy of our time, they're worthy of our financial support. So we also know that everything in this world has gotten to be a lot more expensive. And from serving on the vestry, I've seen firsthand that we're not immune from that at St. Gregory's. Everything here has become more expensive too. So for that reason, I'm increasing my pledge by 15% this year. I would ask you to join me in thoughtfully increasing your pledge, because the church is worthy of that. This church makes a difference. And by increasing your pledge, by giving faithfully, you can make a difference. Thank you for your time.